We go. It's been quite a while. This is Tim with Welburn Homestead, and I'm still having trouble. I can't flip my phone back and forth, but I did get a new camera, and with that camera I got a tripod. I'm working on a laptop now, getting the operating system up and running and the software I need to be able to edit, and as soon as I get that all taken care of, I'll be able to really make some good videos. But I've been kind of under the weather and hadn't been feeling good, so I wanted to put something out there. I got a few little videos I'm going to do pretty soon, but I wanted to play something. This is the little town I grew up in. This is kind of like the hub center. There's two stores here. One's abandoned and one's still in business. There's a little water department across the road, and we finally got a Family Dollar. So I figured I'd just kind of take you on a little ride today, and I'm in my work truck, so gonna be some shifting, but take you for a little ride. And when I get up close to where I live at, I'm gonna slow down a little bit and let you see kind of the area I was talking about my family's land and where we grew up at. So it's a kind of a quiet little town. I don't know what the population, be lucky. I remember when I was in high school, kindergarten through 12th grade, including the teachers and the cafeteria ladies, we were talking probably 500. So my homeroom class consisted of about 18 to 22 people. So it was very small. But it's gonna be a little shaky, guys. But we're going on a ride. And I'll pause it and restart it every now and then to kind of show you. Here's our fire department. We have a little volunteer fire department in our town. And this is the main intersection here. This little town is called Stringer, Mississippi. And I've looked all online and never really saw any videos of anybody that ever posted anything about the town that much. There's some stuff about the school and some of their achievements. When I was in school, we had 3 years state championship back-to-back football. They have an amazing baseball team and a really great basketball team. There's a ladies softball field in the back there. Football field I played on from about 6th grade all the way up to high school. And this is the school. This is what they call the pod building here. We're having our election coming up soon. Mr. Randy Johnson, he's a sheriff here in town for Jasper County. Jasper County consists of Stringer's one of the lower right before you get into the Laurel area, and then you have the baseball field. But Jasper's got Heidelberg, Bay Springs. There's a couple of different towns. Lewin, I can't even name them all. Antioch, Monrose. It's right on close to the Bienville National Forest, which used to be really great hunting when I was growing up. We always hunted, but as you can see, there's hardly any traffic. It's just an old country road. They paved them, but when I was growing up, a big portion of the roads haven't been paved, or they were really rough where they were done. Here's one of the local churches that we attend. It's not the one I grew up in, but it's the one that we attend. And this is a cemetery. A lot of my family's buried here. A lot of the Welburns are buried here. My grandfather's dad's buried there. I found his grave, and his mother and his brother that died when he was about 6. And there's a lot of my family. My Aunt Clotilde, my papa Oscar, I was talking about it. Him and his brother Buck, There was also a sister, Aunt Clotilde, and she married into the Graham family, and they're a real big family here, and they had several children. I'm hoping really soon to maybe do some interviews with some different ones. My mom, she's still alive. My Aunt Kay, my Aunt Niecy. Went and visited my Uncle Ricky the other day from Uncle Buck's side, and they all kind of want to tell a little bit about what they remember when we were growing up, things. A lot of the neighbors do gardening. This is where Mr. Larry lives over here. He retired from Georgia Pacific. He's out in the garden right now. That's his cornfield. He does the G90 corn. He does really good with it. Friend Tony's there. Now this is the road that I actually grew up on. And I'll tell you where our family's land started, but this road is County Road 1915. It was actually, I'll give you a little history here. It was actually called Wellborn Road. It was a dirt road just about my entire life. There's a few families that live here that we call them uncles and aunts, that just have always been right here on the edge of the land, so they're pretty much family to us. But this land here is owned by David and Tammy Blackledge, and they're really nice people. They had I think it was his grandmother's or great-grandmother's old place, and I don't know if you can see it here, but they actually tore that thing apart and rebuilt it right out there in the field. Put it all back together, and they kind of use it as a little camping spot. As we're coming around here, this is where Miss Hosey, which was one of my grandfather, her husband passed away. They had a son named Tom that died in Vietnam. He was one of my grandfather's really good friends. And then coming around here, this is where Caitlin lives. This is part of the Gregory family. Rudolph Gregory and Margaret Gregory. Back in here is where Caitlin's mama Pearl lives. There's also a sister and another brother named Rudolph Jr. About right over in here where Miss Hosey was at, behind there was part of the land of the families at one point. Right through here, you usually always see turkeys. There's turkeys everywhere here, and deer as well. Great hunting area. We've hunted these woods most of our lives, and we all kind of work together to make sure that nobody overkills or does anything they shouldn't. This is Aunt Margaret's house. Uncle Rudolph passed away a few years back. Now, right past here is where the family land started. Margaret's land is across the road here, Aunt Margaret, and it ends up here just a little ways. Now everything to my right over here is where our family's land started. This old house, you can see it in the woods, that was where Aunt Margaret and some of their family grew up. The house is still, what's left of it's still there. Now, right through here, all back in them woods, is where our family's land runs. There's a fence line right here, which is where our place starts. This is where my brother stays. My place is kind of in the back there. And this was where my nephews, that's the appliance shop. I'll show you the other side of the road when we come back through. Mr. David back there, in the very back. This is my brother's shop, one of his shops, the red building you see. Now our family, one good thing, if there is a life-threatening or SHTF, my brother owns a gun shop right here. We did the electrical, the air conditioning, the plumbing on it. There's plenty of guns, plenty of ammo. That's his house there. And as we come on up to this is on the left side now. This back in here was where we call Pole Branch, part of Pole Branch. We used to swim back in these woods back in here that used to be cleared out. And then there's a stream, it's hard to see, that passed through here years and years ago that we used to swim in. I hope this video is okay, guys, because I'm driving a 6-speed with a big work truck. Now this is where Mr. Tony's land starts, right here at these trees. Tony Moss, and he's kind of, him and Aunt Brenda, they pretty much family. This little dirt hill you see here is where we played when we were kids. And then we were at the end of the road. Now back toward the left, which I'll show you another time, is where my family church was at. Let me pause this just a moment. I drove a mile or so down the road at that intersection, but this was the church that we grew up at. It's really hard to drive this thing in and film, and I don't want to go to jail, so but this was the church, and my grandfather had a part in Lee. He was actually a mason at one time, brick mason, and he did a lot of churches, traveled around and built a lot of churches in this community. I just wanted to show you this, and I'm going to take you back a few years. Well, we grew up here. We stayed our whole life at that church. But then a few years later, well, let's see, it's probably been, golly, it's been 12, 14, 15 years later, they decided to go to a different church. That was originally called Good Hope Baptist Church. Now another congregation meets there, but back this way. This is where the new location's at. A little bit bigger. And it's to my right here. I can't really do much zooming in and out, guys. But that's the Good Hope Church now. A lot bigger place, bigger fellowship hall, really a nice church. All right, I'm gonna ease on down this way. There's chickens out in the road, on the side of the road. Now, if you ain't never been in the country, this is the country, folks. All right, now we're coming back on my road. I grew up at. Alright, so this land originally wasn't part of the family's land, but my Uncle Ricky bought it and the house, and he's built shops and all down there. Most of my family was either electricians or pipeliners. Everybody gardened, but